Hello TBR members, this is chapter 3 of GTO Plus, looking at the game through the optimal lens. And I'm gonna explore now the tree we just created, and I will show you how to do this. And we are gonna dive into this thing together. So once your tree is solved, there is two ways to open your tree. In fact, you can do it by clicking on decision point in this box here, or you can go with this option here, which is navigate tree. In fact, and let me show you what is navigate tree. In fact, if you click on this option, now you'll see a very stripped down tree. In fact, we got every decision point which has a number 1 in it will be a decision point for the range number 1, which is the out of position player, and every decision point with a 2 in it will be obviously for the range number 2, which is the in position player. So if we go over just decision point 1 here, it will give you a brief look at certain options, certain results and data. In fact, you'll see how the range is composed by subset of ends, like set, two pair, top pair, middle pair, etc. How they are represented in terms of percentages within the whole range. You'll got some information about the pot, the stack, the bet to call, the odds, etc. But it just gives you a quick glance at the stats, in fact, and you can do this, and you can do the same for the in position player. And notice this box here. As I go further into the tree, it will modify the path in this box here. If I go here, whoop, it just gives us a new branch and stuff like that. But if you want to look, let's just say we go here at the check option here. The first option, the first decision point for the out of position player. If you use the tab button, it will open now the decision point, and you'll be able to have more information, in fact. So now you are presented with this windows, which is the decision point number 1 for the out of position player. And as we already know, because we input this decision in our building tree options, the out of position player will check 100% of his range, right? That is what we gave him as an option on the flop. So every time you will look at the end matrix here, what is when you are facing a decision, when you are facing a bet, in fact, what will be in blue will be raises, in green will be calls, and in red will be folds. And whenever, in fact, you are the aggressor, the first to act, in fact, what will be in blue will be bets, what will be in green will be check. And if you get multiple bet sizes, the blue will always be the bigger bets, and after that it will be pink, I think, and it will go till. And if you got 4 sizes, I never really used 4 sizes, but I think it's yellow or maybe orange. Anyway, we're gonna look at that later on. So you're presented with the strategy for the out of position player, which is check 100% of his range. Let's concentrate on the end matrix here. You can look at the end matrix in tree mode. The default one will be the display mode 1, which will give you the range with weighting in it. And the darker it goes in terms of colors, the less combos you'll have of that particular holding. And the lighter it is, obviously the more combos you'll have. So for example, if we look at pocket 2s here, we got every combos of pocket 2s, which represents 6 combos. And you can see that this holding here is really green, light green, right? And if we look at ace 4 offsuit, for example, we go here, we only got 0.01 as 0.01 combos of this end here. So this is why it is really dark like this. This is display mode number 1. I prefer the display mode number 2 if we click here, because the less green, in fact, you'll have in the in your box. See here, ace-5, for example. If we go with ace-4, for example, which is ridiculous, like 0.01, as I just showed, it will be black. In fact, there is a little green bar here, and you probably don't see it on your screen right now. So it's a preference thing, but I just prefer to look at range this way instead of this way, because I think it's just easier to grasp which quantities of percentage of combos we got this way, because this way we have the impression that we have all those ends, and it's just kind of do a trick on my mind, I think. So I just prefer. And if you go with the display mode number 3, the display mode number 3 in fact will just show you every combos or holding you got in your range, no matter the percentages. So this could be a useful mode when you are on the river and you want to see which holdings, for example, the solver will bet or check. And after that, once you get a good grasp of those holdings, you just go either this way or this way to see the percentages, in fact, of those holdings. So I'm gonna leave it to display method number 2. Then you notice that you have you can show this by because this big window is your whole range, and if you scroll down, for example, you have every combos of hands in your range, and you can classify them by I think they are by default classified by equity. And on this line here, this is the number of combos you have, in fact, in terms of percentage, obviously. And you can see, look at this thing here, we got 3 tabs. You can classify them, you can see the option by combos, or you can see the option by percentages. So it will just like this, we have all the combos of pocket trees here 100% of the time in our range on this flop. And if you scroll a bit down, you'll see that in fact we got all of them if we look at percentage. And if we look at expected value, now it will give you the expected value of a particular holding on every possible run out. Yeah, that's it, every possible run outs, in fact. So you can classify them by either combos, percentages, or expected value. And when you look at range in the end matrix here, you can look with the entire decision. So it will show you the checks, the calls, the folds, etc. Or you can just, if you add options of bet, for example, it will just give a new tab here, a new tab, and it would be a tab with the bet size you would use. So now we just have check, obviously, because we choose to check 100% of our range, but we're gonna move to the in position player, and you'll see what I mean by that. And you can also notice that we got, I'm gonna do this like this here. You can see in your range what are your sets, for example, your 2 pair, top pair, middle pair, weak pair, etc. And basically you just over those here. And if you want to, let's just say, for example, no made end, we go to no made end, and we want to look at what are our no made end. In fact, you just right click on it, and now it will kind of filter, and it will lock all your no made end in your range. So I can go over any part of the solver here, and it won't move the no made end in my range, in fact. And now if we go in this stripe here, we can just go from left to right, and the hands, in fact, are classified by equity. So the best no made end we got here is king of clubs, 10 of clubs, because we got backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, in fact, backdoor not flush draw, etc. So straight flush, etc. So if you go to the right now, it will just show you the no-made ends classified by equity. And we can go all the way to the right. And when you just do this by right-clicking, the number on the right here will be the number of combos you have within your whole range, the number of no-made end combos, in fact. And if we go like here, it's 74.9. If we go over here and we click on percentage, it will change, and now it will show that it represents. Not sure to interpret this well here. Well, obviously, it's if they are no-made ends, we got 100% of them. But well, okay, you can do this by combos or percentage, and maybe we will look at this option later on the tree, and it will be more relevant as information, in fact. And if you just want to release the filter, you'll just click again on the right click, and now notice that it is not fixed anymore. And the stripe thing, in fact, this stripe here is the same as we just saw here, but it is for your whole range and your hands classified by equity. So obviously pocket trees are good here because this is our best set because we don't have queens and jacks here. And this is the same thing. You go to the right side to the worst hands in your range, in fact. All right, and now let's go over this box here. It's pretty self-explanatory. In fact, you'll always have the pot on the street you are. What is the size of the pot? The stacks remaining. If there is a bet to call, it will show here, and it will give you the odds you need to call, in fact. I think those four options are really cool, simple and cool options just to look at pot odds and stuff like that. Sometimes you I don't remember if you have this in PO. I mean the bet to call and the odds to call. Maybe, probably, I guess. You have the combos, so all the combos you have in your range right now. And the percent, well, it's 100% because this is the first decision point. The equity on every runouts, and the expected value of the pot. So as we can see, the pot is 6.5. Our expected value is 1.75, which is low, in fact. So we are at a disadvantage versus in position player. And you can pretty much also use this option here. If you click on it, it will just show you your whole range, and on this column there you have every hands in your range, and now they are classified by equity because there is a little triangle here. But if we click on expected value, it will classify them by the best hands in terms of expected value until the worst, which is 4-4 here. And you can go over directly in the diagram here, and notice that if you point over a hand, it will show you the particular hand you are over in the on the right side, the column. So there is two ways to look at your range. You can do this there on this region here, or you can do this here hand by hand. It will just go in the diagram, and you can classify also. You can sort by, let's just say, expected value. So this is the mean, in fact, and equity, for example. So you can look at equity and expected value. So the more equity we get, obviously, the more expected value we have. You can do the other way around if you want. So this is a really cool way to look at your range overall, I think, and this is a really cool option. And if you want to copy paste, for example, this range, you just click on, every time you see those little square with an arrow in it, you just click on it, and now you see you can have you have all your results data, in fact. And this is useful when you want to build a library in Excel, for example. to just look at average and stuff like that. So you just select and copy paste, or you could just copy paste this into a text file and paste it to a friend or someone. So, and if you want to go back to the decision point that in the tree, you can just click the X thing here, or you could just double click on the decision point, and you are now back to the decision point. So for now, let's just move to the second decision point, which is when the out of position player is checking 100% of his range. And now we are the in position player, and this is the optimal solution for the flop, in fact, which is considering the whole tree, the whole run out, all the possible runouts. But the optimal decision here is to just bet 100% of your range with the 1/3 c-bet here. And keep in mind always that the solver is clairvoyant, so he knows what the out of position player has as a range, and this is the same thing for the out of position player. So this is why he's able to give you the optimal solution. So when villain presents itself with this range on this flop, and the in position player have this range, well, the best solution is to just bet all his range with the 1/3. And when you want to move on the next decision point, you just choose the option you want. So let's just say, for example, we go with the 100% bet. You just click on it, and now this is the decision point of the out of position player. But before we just look at this, as I talked earlier, when you want to look at your hand matrix here and your entire decision, you can classify it by what we are gonna bet and what we are gonna check. Obviously here, since we are betting 100% of our range, there will be no hands in our checking range here. If we click on the check tab, there is nothing in this very few percentage, in fact, which are negligible. So, but we will look at those options, those tabs options, when the out of position player is facing the c-bet, in fact. So let's just move to the other decision point here. We click on this, and now when the out of position player is facing the 1/3 c-bet with all the range, with the all range, this is his strategy here. Notice how complicated it is. What is in red is folds, green calls, and blue raises. And if we choose the display method that shows every hands, in fact, and we go now over those tabs here, you click on it, it shows which combos are raised, it shows which combos are called, and shows which combos are folds. And if we go with another display method, the second one, I think, yeah. Now, if we go with raise, see those slim bars here. This is whenever the more the bar is slim, in fact, the less it is a raise in terms of frequency, and the fatter it is, the more it is a raise in terms of frequency. So this is why we can see that pocket trees here, when facing a 1/3 c-bet, are always or almost always raise here. And if we look at calls, this is the same thing. And if we look at folds, this is the same thing. And if you want to look at the whole decision, the entire decision tree here, it's the strategy. In fact, this is the tab you want to use. So, and as always, you can let's just say, for example, that we want to look at our raises as the out of position player here. And we want to look at percentage, what they are representing in terms of percentage into our range. So for example, if we click on percentage here, now we can go here and look at the trees, pocket trees. You have colors here, blue, green, and red, which represent raise, call, and fold. So when you look at percentage this way, you can see that 100% of the time we're gonna raise with pocket trees here. Queen Jack, which is a 2 pair here, Queen Jack, Queen of clubs, Jack of diamonds. We're gonna optimally, we should raise 52.4% of the time, call 47.6% of the time, and never folding. We are never folding Queen Jack, Queen of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds when facing the 1/3 c-bet here. And this is precisely, and you can do this with combos. In fact, if you click on combos in this tab, you're going to see how much combos you got of that particular holding, and obviously the expected value. And this is the same when you use the expected value, for example, and you want to look at the expected value of Queen Jack of Spades. When you raise with it, which is the blue color here, you're going to have an expected value of 12.92. If you call with the Queen Jack of Spades, you're going to have an expected value of 12.81. And if you fold, obviously, a fold is always an expected value of 0. And if we look at the entire decision tree, we click on this tab, and we go in this box here. Notice now that we have the pot, which is now 8.75 because the in-position player c-bet. Our stack as the out-of-position player didn't change because we are yet to act. So we still have 97 big blinds. $97 in fact. We need to call $2.14 and we have 4.021 odds on the call now. And if we look at combos here, overall on the flop we had 217.3 combos. Facing this 1/3, 29%, 29.07 combos will raise, 86.41 will call, and 101.9 combos will fold. And if we go with even if we choose those tabs here, it doesn't change the results here. So it's really combos, in fact, because we are on the combos line. So percent is the same here. We're gonna raise at 13.4%. Calls 39.6 and folds 47.1, and you got the equity of raising, calling, folding, and the expected value of raising, calling, and folding overall. So this is pretty much how you should read those stats in here. Let's just say that we want to you can in fact let's just say we want to look at weak pair here. So we go over weak pair, we right click on it, and at this moment we have this classified by combos, right? We raise 3.83 combos of weak pair, we call 20.6 combos, and we fold 11.4 combos. And in the stripe, notice that there is colors in it. So basically, they represent the actions with the particular combos you're gonna hove over. So if we choose, for example, a hand like 2 of clubs and 2 of heart, we are in the red part here, which is suggesting that 2-2 here is probably always a fold, and we can pretty much go in the end matrix. And if we hove over 2-2 here, we can see in the left box. Just on the left side of the hand matrix that we are folding 87.5% of the time with pocket 2s here. And you'll notice that when you use the hand matrix like this, you are locking a certain subset of hands, and you go over. Every time you move your cursor or your pointer, in fact, over other holdings, it changed the holdings in the in this window here. But let's just say, for example, you want to study every combos of pocket 4s, for example. If you want to go on the window on the left side of the hand matrix, oops, it changed because now we are not over for pocket 4s anymore. So there is a way to just lock the data for pocket 4s, and you just need to press F9. Once you press F9, it will lock the pocket 4s, and whenever you can go over anything here, it won't change this window here. And this is useful, especially when you want to look at particular combos, but also when you want to change the decision in terms of betting, calling, or folding with those combos, which will be explained in the not locking video that I will make later on. So this is a way you can lock this and just look at combos. And when you want to just come back on the with the normal way, you just click on F9 or this button here. And now it reverts to the default. So the out of position player check 100% of his range. We bet as the in position player bet 1/3. The now we are on this decision point, and let's just say, for example, that the out of position player calls. We're gonna release this filter also here. So you click on the card here, and it will present you a turn matrix, in fact, with all the possible turns. So you can choose your turn, or you can, there is this option, turn report, which is a really cool option. You click on this one here, and now you can look at turns for the player 1 or player 2. Player 1 being the out of position, player 2 being the in position. You can look for the entire range or a specific hand. So let's just say, for example, for player 1, we want to look for a specific hand, which are pocket 10s, for example. Let's just say 10 of clubs, 10 of diamonds. So we choose this. Maybe we don't have those. In fact, let's just say 7/7. Yeah. And now it will show which turns cards are good for pocket 7s. And as we can see, there isn't much cards that are good. The only one would be a 7, obviously, which would give us a set. And you can look at, in this window, in fact, it will just give you what are the best cards from number 1 to number 47, being the worst, in terms of either expected value or equity, if you click on those here. And you can look at displaying equity, in fact, for each turn cards, possible turn cards. The colors being the suit. You can look at the end matrix or the graphs, in fact. There's 3 ways to look at this. And obviously you can sort by, like I did earlier, expected value and equity, or the other way around. So you have the mean of the equity here, or the expected value, I mean. And you can look at every combos of every turn for the pocket 7, for example. But if we want to look at the entire range, we can do the same for player 1. We can choose the end matrix here. And we can classify by expected value, for example. So we can see now that a very bad turn for the out of position player would be an ace. Every ace, in fact. A 2s also. 2 is those 2s are bad in terms of expected value, in fact. So the greener the better, and the more orange, yellow, if it's red, it's bad, in fact. And you can classify by equity by clicking here also. And in the cards in itself, it will show you the equity. Same with expected value. And you can do this for both player. So now let's just say, for example, we are player 1. We want to see what is a good turn card for our entire range in terms of expected value. We can see that the 9 is a really good card here. So we will go with the 9 here. Let's just say the best 9 is 9 of heart. So we're gonna go here, click on the 9 of heart. And now we have done the flop. This is why we are moved on to another box here under this one here. And notice that this little circle here, this is because we could resolve to get a closer accuracy. In fact, so if you click on it, notice now that the deviation is the solver is solving a bit more, and he's trying to solve the flop perfectly with the information we have right now. And this will gives us a more accurate result on the turn, in fact. And whenever you want to stop it, you either click on the decision point or you click back on the circle here. Now, since the out of position player is a passive one, he called the raise, the open pre-flop, check all the flop, he will check 100% of his range on the turn because he has been passive. And this is an option we checked on in the when we were building our tree. So he checked 100% of his range. And now notice that we got a bit more colors in here because on the turn we had input 3 bet sizes option for the in position player. So he had the choice to bet small, 1/3 of the pot, 2/3, or an overbet. And on this 9 of heart, now we can see that the solver is suggesting to don't overbet. He used the 2/3 at a rate of 28.9%. He used the 1/3 at a rate of 9.20%, and he's checking at a rate of 61.9%. And if we go with, if we just go below here, we can see overall that we are. I thought we could see overall, but no. So basically, we are like betting at 38% or something, right? 38.1. And as I showed earlier, you can just look at your strategy by options. In fact, by bet sizing, and you can do this here. The overbet is not used, so we won't have holdings in it. This is what we're gonna use with the 2/3. This is what we're gonna use with the 1/3, and this is our checking range, and this is our entire decision here. So this is pretty much how you're gonna look at data into GTO Plus when navigating the tree here. So let's just solve the line overall. Let's just say, for example, that we check. And we can do the same as turn report, but with river. So we click on river report. And now notice that it needs a bit of resolving here to give us an accurate result, a better accurate, more accurate results, in fact. And this is the same thing. Whenever you need to stop the simulation, you just click on this circle or this one here. And for player, let's just say a good card, a good river card for player 2 in terms of expected value. A T would be good. An ace would be good also. So let's just go with the T of heart, for example. We click on this here. We choose the T of heart. And now we are moved again on this box here because flop is solved, turn is solved, and river now is solved. And we can resolve a bit also. And now we have we are at 0%, so this is pretty much accurate. And now the pot on the river is 10.79, and since the aggressor checked the turn, notice now that the out of position player has options to bet now. So we can bet 66% of the pot, and he will use it, in fact, at a rate of 18.3%. And on this board of Queen of Diamonds, Jack of Clubs, 3 of Spades, 9 of Heart, and 10 of Heart, we can look at his range when he's gonna dunk with it. What he's gonna dunk with it. We click on this tab, which is the bet range, and let's just use another display method there. So he's gonna dunk with a second pair, King Jack, for example. He's gonna dunk with the straight, obviously, which is King Queen, King Jack. King Jack is a straight also. King 10 and King 9, which is a straight also. So he's gonna dunk with all the straight. He's gonna dunk with 9-8, 8-8, 9-8 also, which are straights. Ace 5, which is ace high, and those are will mainly be your bluffs, in fact. Ace 3 being a weak pair. King 3 is a straight. 6-3, 5-3, and 4-3 are weak pair also. 4-4 also, 2-2 also. But like I said, when you look at the betting range with the display method number 3, you have the impression that you are betting all those combos, in fact, all the 2, all the 4-3, etc. But it is not the case, because if we go with the display method number 2, you can see that those bars are very slim here. And this is mainly because we don't have all those combos on the river in our range, because we dropped some on earlier streets. And let's just say, for example, that we want to look at pocket fours, for example. We hover over here, we press F9, we lock the pocket fours, and now we go here. And look at how many combos we got. 1.66, in fact. So we have a bit more than 1 combos of pocket fours here. So when we land with pocket fours, with this percentage as combos, we can bet them. We can bet all of them, obviously, but we don't have all the possible combos of pocket fours. This is a thing to remember, in fact, when you are looking at the data. So we're gonna remove the lock here, and you can do the same with the bet or the check, in fact, and look at the results you have. And let's just say, for example, that the out of position player, which is the big blind, dunk. We click on this option, and now this would be the optimal response for the in position player. So if we look at his raising range, for example, we click on this tab here, raising range, and obviously he's gonna raise with straights, with set, and some of 2 pair, for example, queen jack here is a raise, set, all this 2 pair, and a weak pair, which is ace 9 here, which is quite interesting to look. And you can do the same with the calls and the folds, obviously. So this is how you look at results in GTO Plus. And I think in the next chapter I will explain quickly the database mode, and I will probably explain how to node lock strategies into GTO Plus, how to do this. I will show you how to edit your tree, and I think after that we will have covered pretty much the basics and what you need to know to start to use GTO Plus. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video, and I'm looking forward to do the next chapter.